Hey, what's going on, everyone? Good evening. It's 8:39 Central Time, 9:39 Eastern Time. Meteorologist Jonathan Keg is back with you. Again, we were on earlier tracking the first two rounds of severe weather. This is kind of round three here, and just exploding over the past 30 minutes with tornado warnings all over the state of Louisiana, also into Arkansas, although I believe that the tornado warnings have piped down a little bit in that threat diminishing in Arkansas. But we talked earlier that we would see this threat ramp up as we got into the evening beyond that 7, 8, 9 time frame. And unfortunately, that's exactly what is happening. I want to get right into this here as we are seeing a tornado on the ground, tornado in progress with the debris signature and reported damage in and around Farmerville, Louisiana. That is why you see that purple polygon starting to pop back up again. Scott's Hideaway, if anybody's watching in from that area into Marion, that's where we're seeing that report. Sheriff from Union Parish is reporting that there are multiple trees down on Highway 15 or Goldie Street. It's going to be north of Farmerville, but he says still in the city limits. So we are seeing, again, some big-time damage from a confirmed tornado that just went through Farmerville, Louisiana. So we are watching that closely over the next really little bit here. Hey, good evening in Cape Coral, Florida. Hope you are doing well this evening as we are watching this severe weather outbreak now unfold. Now we're talking about some bigger tornadoes. I want to take you a little bit further south, change the radar site that we are looking at as we are watching it. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to go back and we're going to inspect this a little bit further here. It does look like we're starting to see this come down a little bit from earlier, but it does still look like we have a tornado debris signature right in here. So again, that is going to be the radar seeing the debris being lofted up by the tornado. Again, from a reflectivity standpoint, from the main radar site here, we are going to continue to watch that move forward into Marion. So again, heads up, putting a little timer on that for you. Again, this is, right on our doorstep as we go. Whoops, that's zoom right back in. Of course, you see all the snow reports from up into the upper Midwest and northern plains from the cold side of this system. That's where you have the blizzard. So you see here, the National Weather Service has highlighted this because we do have a tornado in progress in and around Marion. I'm going to turn things back on. I'm going to get rid of that timeline there. And you see where the strongest weather is right now. Right in there, in and around Marion. Okay, that's where we have the confirmed tornado. We have damage reported back in Farmerville from where the tornado went through. There was a debris signature on radar. I want to take you back over the last little bit here and kind of go around Louisiana now, where we are watching this ugly event really begin to unfold. There's Alexandria. Just kind of going around trying to change the radar sites here. All right, Midway up at 9:02. That's when we are going to see the likelihood of this damaging storm here. We will get into all of that. So Jenna, Louisiana, this is going to be to your south and west. This is the time where you want to be in your safe place going forward. I'm going to highlight this again, turn the telestration back on, and there we go. That is going to be the rotation right there. So keep that in mind. This is heading back off in that direction. likely going to be to the west of Jenna, but we are in that tornado warning. Again, if it slides off just to the east, even a little bit, this is going to come through Jenna. Again, a radar indicated tornado. We'll check to see if there's any signature of debris. Too difficult to tell. Does not look like we're getting a clear signature there. Back to the west, western Louisiana, north of Robeline, we have another tornado warning. Again, this just exploding here over the past 30 minutes after what had been a nice quiet stretch. And again, this was to be expected. We were talking about this earlier, that we would likely have a flare up into the mid-afternoon. We'd pulse things back down, and then as we got the jet stream energy rolling, we would see a big flare up like this. And unfortunately, again, that's exactly what is happening here. Anyone who's just joining, welcome. Please post in the comments where you are watching from. If you are watching from the area that we are focused on right now, that is, of course, where we have 4 active tornado warnings, a severe thunderstorm warning also in play. But the big news here, the breaking news, was a tornado just went through Farmerville, Louisiana. There's damage reported. This was reported on the ground. And that is, again, why we have this purple color here. When we have those tornadoes confirmed by law enforcement, by radar, by storm chasers, that will turn purple here. It's that next heightened level up in those areas. I want to take you a little bit further to the east. Have to change the radar site. We're going to go out of Jackson, Mississippi. The radar data has to load again as we go kind of bounce from site to site. But we'll inspect this one as well. It's certainly not as... This one isn't as pronounced as the one to its north and west. But nonetheless, we have Oak Ridge. We're up at 848. So in just a couple of minutes, I mean, this is basically right on top of us. Pioneer, 913, 916 for Forest. Oak Grove, 920. Kilbourne, 930. Lake Providence, 931. So that's going to be tornado warning number 2. Now, I want to get back to the most serious threat. So I'm going to change up the radar site again, and we're going to go back to northern Louisiana. The good thing is it looks like we are watching this kind of wind back down a little bit. This does not look as concerning as it did even 10, 15 minutes ago. But if you're just joining us, Farmerville, Louisiana likely took a direct hit here from a tornado. Law enforcement reporting power lines down, multiple mobile homes destroyed. Police department is reporting that in Farmerville. So again, this just came through within the last few minutes, last 15 minutes or so. We're talking about that tornado going through. Again, we're going to take you back down the line. We were talking to some people from Houghton and Shreveport earlier. Your severe weather threat has ended. So if you do end up seeing this later on into the evening here, all of the nasty weather is now going to push off to the east. But this is kind of setting the stage for another round of severe weather tomorrow in eastern Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and then getting into Georgia and the Panhandle of Florida as we get into Wednesday into Thursday. I want to set the stage here, and as expected, we've now seen this go back to red. We are still in a tornado warning in and around Marion. It's not as intense as what it was before. Doesn't mean it can't drop a tornado, but we've lost the look, that ugly look that we had before, the damaging look. So that is some good news. Again, there's still some evidence of a little bit of rotation right on in here on the northern side of this warning, getting ready to cross into Arkansas. This is the Arkansas state line. So just keep that in mind. If you're watching from Hutting, this is kind of drifting up in that direction towards you. So again, just keep a close eye. We're not under a tornado warning there just yet. I want to be clear about that. But again, that could change very, very quickly as that storm has a big history of producing damage. Damage reports are coming in very, very quickly in and around Farmerville. So we'll have to wait until first light to see what exactly that did, but it's not looking good, as there was an ugly and scary debris signature. And just coming in on the National Weather Service chat, the Union Parish Sheriff had said it's not sounding too good. It's not looking pretty in Farmerville. So we are certainly thinking about our friends there in Farmerville who likely just took a direct hit from a pretty powerful tornado just about 20 or so minutes ago. This severe weather threat continues, and it will likely ramp up a little bit over the next couple of hours through parts of central and eastern Louisiana. We're going to take you a little further. I got to switch my radar sight, so we're going to go back down to more south central Louisiana. You see all the blinking lights on your screen there. The red indicates where we have tornado warnings. When they turn purple, that means there is a confirmed tornado. And the orange is a severe thunderstorm warning, more of the straight line winds, but certainly tornadoes not out of the question to quickly spawn out of these because of the kind of environment that we are in. All right, so our next one up, this is not, we have rotation there. We have the green and the red next to each other. We do have this storm spinning, this supercell thunderstorm spinning. For those just joining us to see, we have a few more people on. Please let me know where you're watching from. If you are new to this channel, welcome. We are tracking the severe weather threat in the Deep South. This one is concerning here. We do have a tornado vortex signature in between Jenna, Louisiana, and Georgetown, Louisiana. Tornado warning continues for us until 9 o'clock Central Time. You can clearly see here where we're looking at the rotation. I'm going to turn on the telestration again. We have the green going toward the radar, the red moving away from the radar. That's the wind direction there. New update just coming in, and that's holding its intensity in terms of that rotation. So again, some nasty stuff happening. Again, if you are just joining us, we are following the situation in Farmerville. The worst of the weather has passed Farmerville, but we are getting significant and serious reports here of some pretty ugly damage from the sheriff in Union Parish. So we're going to have to see what that looks like by the time the sun comes up tomorrow. Of course, this is adding to the danger. When you get these tornadoes at night, and as we were just talking about there, that's one of the damage reports that are trickling in. We're seeing them come in real time, even faster on our National Weather Service chat line. We're kind of in tune with some storm chasers that are out there, certainly law enforcement, emergency management, and then the National Weather Service. And again, that's where all those reports that I'm relaying back to you are coming in from. So again, the threat is over in Farmerville, but unfortunately the damage has been done. We're going to take a look at some of these, and again, they're definitely not as impressive, but Midway heads up at about 9:02, so really in about 10 minutes, we are going to be up. Every now and then, I'm just going to continue to look over and check some things out. If you are just joining us, welcome. We track all things weather on this channel. We would love to have you along for the ride. If you like this video, you hit the thumbs up. This goes out to more people so that they can see some of the dangerous weather that is out there. So if you could please hit that thumbs up button, that would be appreciated. And if you do love talking and tracking the weather, you can hit that subscribe button. We would appreciate that as well. We always love getting your reports when it's good weather. And unfortunately, though, the weather's turned destructive tonight. We've had multiple tornadoes. We had a couple of confirmed tornadoes. We were on live a few hours ago. We just had one go through Farmerville. And unfortunately, we are seeing awful, awful reports of some of the damage that had just come through there. and we are going to be watching that carefully over the next couple of hours to see how that materializes. But the storm itself that was responsible for that move through Marion is much, much weaker. But again, Farmerville, unfortunately, on the north side of town especially, just took a direct hit from a tornado. And again, we won't know how strong until the National Weather Service gets out there and surveys some of that damage. Still looks like we have a tornado vortex signature on this midway. Again, we are up in a few minutes. You guys need to be in your safe spot as we speak, because again, these tornadoes are also moving very quickly, or at least the parent thunderstorms that could contain these tornadoes are moving very, very quickly tonight. From southwest to northeast. Again, we now have 3 active tornado warnings. We're going to go check in on that. But the fact that the National Weather Service has also kind of continued this as a severe thunderstorm warning into Arkansas, again, it shows that we were talking earlier, the environment not as conducive once we get into Arkansas. It's all relative, though. We've been able to, unfortunately, have a few tornado warnings in Arkansas over the past hour. I'm going to get this back over to the Shreveport radar, where the folks at the Weather Service in Shreveport have been extremely busy tonight issuing all these warnings. If you're just joining us, and I see we have a few new people, are the breaking news out of the deal was that we had a tornado go through Farmerville, and according to the sheriff, it's not good. So we just are just looking at some of the reports on that National Weather Service chat. If you are just joining us, welcome. Please post in the comments where you are watching from. Certainly, if you're watching from the plains, would love to know how much snow you picked up and what you're seeing out there. If you are watching from the deep south, Louisiana, Arkansas, and western Mississippi in particular, I would also love to know what you are seeing. Hopefully, it's just a gentle rain, but we do have 4 active tornado warnings in play. We have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings also capable of producing damage, and at any time in this environment can spawn tornadoes. So to be clear, it's not just a severe thunderstorm warning. I know that's thrown out a lot when it's differentiating between a tornado or a severe thunderstorm. On a day like today or on a night like tonight, it's very likely that those tornado or those severe thunderstorms can also produce those tornadoes very, very quickly. I want to take you back in between Georgetown and Jenna, Louisiana, and we are watching this materialize very quickly. I'll turn the telestration back on again. The green represents the wind going toward the radar. The red representing the wind going away from the radar. So there is the spin. You see the little icon right there showing that mesocyclone, or the radar picking up that rotation. I'm going to zoom this back out again, and I'm going to put on a track here in this direction that there's not many towns in the way, which is a relative positive. But again, this is starting to look a little bit ugly. No debris signature showing up on that, thankfully, at this time anyway. We're going to just head back over to the other computer. All right, so that's the big deal here in and around Jenna right now. We're going to head back over right along I-49. We're going to check out that. We have to switch the radar. We have a brand new tornado warning that just popped up in eastern Texas. You see that red blinking area there. We'll check out that one in just a second. If you are just joining us tonight, starting to look bad in Missouri. Welcome, Skywatcher. Appreciate your report. Thank you so much for finding us and for tuning in. Yeah, no, you are 100% right about that. And we have a couple of them looking like that, unfortunately. Um, we've got this one here. Let me switch over the radar site. The good news is, I mean, I don't want to call it good news, but we're losing the oomph, if you will, on that Farmerville tornado. That's the one that just went through Farmerville and caused what seems to be a lot of damage, according to some of the law enforcement there. Um, yeah, you're on the good side. I misunderstood. I saw your name, and then I was like, wait a minute, Missouri. I'm like, I don't think we're not in that severe weather threat, but I bunched everything together whenever I saw your I saw your name there. So that's my bad on that. And now I got what you were saying. Yeah, it's been a real bad day. Yeah, we've been watching it, and it's just been ugly. I mean, like you said from earlier this morning, almost nonstop. Everything was spinning near Dallas and Fort Worth, through Oklahoma, and now this is like round 3, and then it looks like we're gonna gear things and revamp and do this all again tomorrow afternoon and evening, and even in the morning in parts of western Mississippi. So this is just not a good. It's not a good way to go through December. And it's just crazy that this is December because, I mean, we have legit supercell thunderstorms out there. And it's just crazy. So I want to look at this new warning here. This is in Texas, and there you go. There is your tornado vortex signature. Turn the telestration back on. This is the wind away from the radar. That is the wind towards the radar. And then there is the rotation. With that, this is just to the east, south and east of Browndell, Texas, very close again to the Louisiana line. And it's just amazing how quickly, and we might have another, we call these QLCSs, quasi-linear convective system here, tornadoes. So these aren't like the supercell ones that we are seeing to the east in Louisiana. These are those quick spin-ups, but further up the line, we may end up seeing another tornado warning. You see this. We're not under the warning just yet, but I'll point this out. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer and notice how we have a little bit of spin up in here as well. This is the Louisiana border. And to give you some perspective, I'm going to pull things back out again and just really look to see where we are at. The good news is it looks like we've had, unless I'm losing data, which I don't think I am, we have had some of these tornado warnings expire. The one right along I-49 that we were watching, that has been allowed to expire. So we do have some relative good news there. The one in and around Jenna, all that looks like that warning has been allowed to expire as well. So at least some relative stuff there. Some good news. Hey, thank you. No, I love that you're a sky watcher. Would love to have you on board too if you're ever out as well. So I would love to, if you subscribe to continue this conversation. That's what we do here. We like to have the conversation. I love the weather reports that everybody's been given tonight. So thank you again for finding the channel. And again, we would love to have you in our little weather community here. No, I'm with you. No, it's crazy. I completely agree. You got it. No, thank you. Thank you for what you do as well. Appreciate you, and God bless, and hope everybody is staying safe. So thank you very much again for hopping on here and sharing the insight with us tonight. Again, we have a bunch of new people on here. If you are just joining us, I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kagis, and we are tracking the unfortunate outbreak now of tornadoes. And I want to get you to the most serious thing. I just saw the other damage report pop up. Hey, Melissa, welcome back. You got it. Give me 1 second, and I will get there for you. And we'll break that down for you. Thanks for coming back to the stream. I hope everything has been okay this evening as we kind of watch this. So the main severe weather threat now, let me turn back on the radar. You are about right in here, just south of Moreau, correct? I think that's where you are. And please correct me if I'm wrong. I just want to make sure that I'm giving you the most concise information and the best information. We're almost done. We're not out of the woods just yet. We have this little line. Okay, perfect. So just saying you're somewhere right in around here. Sorry, that's very wide and very dark. But anyway, we still have one little push here. What we have coming on through Ruston, all this we still have to get through. So we're not out of the woods just yet. So if you are planning on going to bed sometime soon over the next hour or so, I think the severe weather threat, the potential for tornadoes is going to continue until we get into the early morning hours of Wednesday morning. So 2 or 3 more hours, I think we're going to keep this going. We've had a couple of embedded spin-ups down here. I don't think we have anything active. Let me turn on the velocity mode. There's not a ton spinning, but just for instance, we did have a tornado warning in and around Campty and Clarence a little while ago, and that's going to be the stuff that eventually kind of works up close to you. I think that's a good idea. I mean, and again, I don't want to put that. I don't want to say, yeah, make sure you stay up or anything like that, but it's just, we were just watching and just looking at this a little bit ago, and it was nice and quiet. And I mean, kind of as expected, this flared up so quick, and then we had 4 or 5 active tornado warnings, and then that one go through Farmerville. So it's certainly something to be, it's just something to be vigilant of. Eventually, though, this is going to wind down. It's just a couple of more hours because really behind this line here, the severe threat is pretty much over. So it's not much longer to go. But still not out of the woods just yet. I'm so sorry to hear that you lost your house. That's awful. No, and I don't blame you at all. I don't blame you for wanting to just stay up and make sure you get out of this and everything's okay and everybody's safe. And I hope that continues to be the case here. As we wait for the radar data to load, and there it goes, sometimes it takes a little bit and we have all this data coming and cramming in. To put a timeline on this for you, this is going to be now as we get out of Louisiana and then move into extreme western Mississippi. Forest, we're up at about 9:16. Oak Grove at about 9:19. Marysville, 9:42. And then Anguilla at about 9:58. And that's getting into Mississippi. We are going to break that down. We're going to check this out. We're in that purple haze region. So I have to switch the radar site to make sure that we are seeing the best thing. And I think that is the best radar. They're kind of like in a radar dead zone area in that tri-state area there, right in Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. We'll go back to the Shreveport radar and see what we can find in here. To wait for that to load again. So yeah, we're kind of just right in a very hard spot to kind of analyze that tornado in extreme northeast Louisiana. We're right in the middle of where the radar beams are shooting, so we are looking pretty high. Got a report of quarter-size hail northwest of Monroe, so that's with those storms up there. But the good news is those aren't spinning, and that's really all we care about at this point. Obviously, we don't want straight line wind damage, don't want hail damage either, but the big threat tonight, of course, is the tornadoes. See, a lot of new people have joined. Welcome to the stream. Again, we are focused on Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas at the moment. Of course, we have a pretty substantial blizzard that continues to rage on in the plains. But right now, we have a life-threatening situation with these tornadoes. Now, I was just mentioning about these QLCS tornadoes, the quasi-linear, we call them that because it's like a line, and you can get these little spin-ups, and we're already seeing the rotation go back down again. So, for instance, we had a little bit of a spin here. It's hard to find at this time, and that's why these tornado warnings don't last too terribly long. Looks like we have another one there, and then maybe a little something trying to get going right in here as well. If we turn on the reflectivity again, we can kind of see that. So this is what we're going to be concerned with this last push coming out of Texas. More of these embedded supercells rather than these isolated supercells. But again, with Melissa asking about, are we out of the woods? All of the, like this thing here, like near Colfax and near Boyce, right along I-49, it has that look. I'm going to check to see what the velocity signature is showing in a second, but they're all starting to hook now. And that's what we obviously do not want to see. We don't want to see these isolated. We don't want to see these hooking. Again, just to the north of Alexandria, again, we have the same deal. I'm going to turn on the velocity mode. The good news is I'm not seeing too much in the way of any kind of spin in there. So that's good. They might just be trying to acquire that look, trying to spin where the rotation is relatively tame. So that's good. Right now, we have 2 active tornado warnings. One is right along the Texas and Louisiana border to the northeast of Jasper, Texas. And then the other is in extreme northeastern Louisiana. Forest, we are included in that. Oak Grove, we are included in that. And I'm going to try to see if I can get a better radar view here. Zoom out and switch my radar sites so that we can try to see. And the closest one we have is either Jackson, Mississippi, or Shreveport. Have to wait for that to load. Definitely a very nasty system. And the other thing too, you see how big and bright this bullseye is here. This is a pretty big hail core, and the radar is estimating here that we have hail almost 2 inches right in that white, moving just to the north of Oak Grove. So while we also have the threat of a tornado, oh wow, so I'm near Camp D in my safe spot because the wind and hail on the roof is insane. We're going to go check out that cell for you. We were just looking at that in a second. A second ago. Stand by. I'm going to get the radar back and we'll check that out. That's crazy stuff. And that was with we did have a tornado warning on that one. That was allowed to expire, but the hail is just crazy with that. So we're going to leave this cell here that's moving towards Oak Grove that's producing at least golf ball size hail, maybe even bigger. You as well, man. Good night. Stay safe. I'm glad you're just get some of that rain on the kind of the ugly side of the storm. For sure, they're going to need it. All right, so back down to got to change my radar site. Back to Shreveport. And this is going to be Uracell here. And it's crazy that there's no warning on this anymore because the hail still looks really, really big. And especially here, I mean, this is what just went through. So you can kind of still see the embedded supercell in here. I'll turn on the telestration again. And there's the hook. And then there's kind of, we call it the dovetails. So that's still a supercell thunderstorm. That's one of the reasons why the hail was so crazy. The rain is very, very heavy. Things are going to calm down a little bit over the next couple of minutes, but we still have some very heavy rain back towards Powhatan and then further back. So we're still going to be in this for a little while, but gradually your severe weather threat is going to come back down. Give it another hour or so, but still be on guard. But the main thing is that that tornado warning that was in effect just to your west has been allowed to expire. So that tornado threat at least winding down for you this evening. Not so much through Central. Again, Monroe, we're still looking at that tornado threat into Clarks. This huge hail just to the northwest of Lake Providence. We get a little closer here. This is going to be Oak Grove. I mean, man. I mean, again, this is right. You're going to get some really, really big hail in Oak Grove. Just waiting to see if there's any more out of Farmerville. If you guys are just joining us, first of all, welcome to the channel. We are focused on Louisiana, Arkansas, and extreme East Texas tonight because that's where we have the unfortunate severe weather outbreak, tornado outbreak. We've had a couple of confirmed tornadoes. The breaking news on the early side of the evening here within just last hour, Farmerville was hit by a tornado. Don't know how strong. The National Weather Service is going to have to do that, but and relay and observe and go through all their survey. But law enforcement reporting that multiple mobile homes were destroyed on Camp Road in Farmerville. So we are certainly thinking about the community of Farmerville tonight, as unfortunately we have to wait till first light to really see what's going on. The sheriff reported it is not good in the National Weather Service chat. As they are calling in some extra people, as you might imagine, because of this nasty weather. Okay, things have piped down a little bit. I caution, though, that we still have a long night to go. I want to pull up for you. A high-resolution future radar to kind of give you an idea of what you can expect the rest of the night. If you are living here or if you have family living here, just give me 1 second and I will pull that up. For right now, we're going to focus on, I believe, what is now the lone tornado. Nope, I spoke too soon. A new one was just issued here for extreme southeast Arkansas, and now getting into western Mississippi, right, including Greenville, Mississippi. So we're going to change the radar site, and we're going to take a look at that one. Again, spoke too soon. As we speak, the National Weather Service continued that warning that has that crazy big hail in it just to the north of us in Lake Providence. So we're going to go back close. It's really hard to tell what exactly is happening because of where it is, but we do know that it's a very nasty system. So even though we're far out, we're seeing that rotation. The green represents the wind going towards the radar, and you see that little stripe of red right there. That represents the wind going away from the radar, and you see that little icon right in there. That is where the radar is detecting the spin. It's also picking up hail about 1.5 inches. So, I mean, that is a lot. That is big hail. So we have that to contend with. Of course, the most serious threat is the potential for this tornado here. We'll go to the fresh marker put on a tracker for you. If anybody is watching from Hollandale, we are on the tip end of this tornado warning. That would be there in around 9:50 to 10 o'clock. So now is a good time to get into your safe place. We also have this way back here. Severe thunderstorm warning in and around Crosset and Hamburg in Arkansas. But there's some decent rotation there. It's a little broad, but I would not be surprised if we do get another tornado warning there. There are 2 areas of concern within that one cell. This is looking ugly. Here's where we have a tornado vortex signature. This is in extreme southeast Arkansas, right along the Mississippi River, just north of Eudora. And you see there's Eudora. There is the spin, and that is going to continue to work its way up to the north and east. So if you are watching from Lake Village, we are in that tornado warning. Greenville, Leland, we are in that tornado warning. Now is a good opportunity, good idea to get into your safe place while you still have time. And again, that is going to be interior room, away from your build, away from any kind of windows, certainly. Put as many walls in between you and the storm as possible. So as we broke down those 2 warnings, those are the last really 2 warnings that we have out there. There likely will be more tonight. And before that popped up, I was going to show you what the future radar it looks like. I've not looked at this in quite some time because we've been tracking the storms in real time. So I'm going to look at this basically in real time with you, kind of a wide out view here of the Deep South. And over the next few hours, so this is midnight Eastern, midnight Central, 1 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Central. So here's the thing that's concerning. We're still talking about the potential for this to ramp up. This is 2 a.m. Central Time. Okay? And I'll get you a better look. I'll zoom this back in. We are talking about, we still have these isolated kidney bean shaped storms here. Multiple supercells could continue well into the evening. Again, that was expected to happen. This wasn't supposed to end, unfortunately, and quickly. But there you have it. We're going to keep that tornado threat rolling from about Alexandria to Jackson, Mississippi. Again, at least through 3 o'clock in the morning. Probably somewhat longer than that. We'll fast forward it a little bit more. And then even still, there's 9 a.m. Central Time. This just doesn't want to leave. This is terrible. We're still talking about these are still embedded supercells all through here, just to the west of Baton Rouge. So again, tomorrow morning when you're waking up, going to school, watch out at the school bus tomorrow. Places like Baton Rouge, New Orleans a little later on in the morning, we are in that enhanced risk area for tomorrow morning. This is now the day 2 section, but through the overnight hours, it's going to be ugly. I'm going to take you out a little further. We're going to change the look here and take you further. And here we go. This is at about now 7 o'clock on tomorrow, which is Wednesday. This starts to push into western and central Alabama. So again, our time here, and I know my new friend from Hattiesburg just popped in, and we'll be watching this closely at about, I think by this time tomorrow, that threat's going to be over for us in Hattiesburg, in Gulfport, in Mobile. But our time tomorrow really starts to ramp up. Let's see. About right there. So that's going to be noon or 1 o'clock. So somewhere in that noon to 2, 3 o'clock ballpark for us in Hattiesburg tomorrow. And for reference, if it's kind of zoomed out, here is Hattiesburg right there. And then there's all the supercell thunderstorms starting to pop again or really continue. So again, that is something that we're going to be watching. And then this continues into early Thursday morning through the panhandle of Florida and Georgia, and then through the Florida Peninsula Thursday afternoon and evening before we finally get rid of this one completely. And then there's one last gasp of this in terms of some very heavy snow in interior New England. So this has been a very impressive system. It started last Saturday in California, Oregon, Washington, and now it's ramping up as a giant blizzard. I'm sorry. 2 to 3 p.m. So this is tomorrow afternoon for you. So we'll be with you tomorrow afternoon. We'll step that back just to make sure that I'm looking at the right stuff. Because that's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. We may have a few showers around. And then we're going to fast forward it. This is 10 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Eastern. And then around lunchtime, I think, is when we could start to see maybe a few stronger thunderstorms. And then we really ramp things up as we get towards 1, 2, 3 o'clock. And then I think by that 0Z, that's 7 Eastern, by 5, 6 o'clock, by dinner time, I think we're done in Hattiesburg. So I really think between like noon and 5, that's going to be your ballpark for the worst of the weather tomorrow. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. Hey, Elizabeth, good to see you. I don't think we're going to get anything severe in northern Kentucky. Just a cold rain and maybe some heavy rain, a few thunderstorms. But the severe weather threat is going to stay to your south this time around, which is good news because I know we don't need another December tornado. It's crazy. It's happening all on the heels of the Mayfield tornado, just the anniversary just a day or two ago, a couple days ago. But no, you got it. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming back and tuning in. I see we have a bunch of extra people watching. If you are just tuning in, we'll get you back to what we've been focused on all night. And now we have a cluster of tornado warnings. And just like clockwork, we were talking about Crowset, likely going to get a tornado warning soon. And then there it goes. They issued the tornado warning officially because we were just in here. We were all just dissecting this together. There's the spin, and there's a couple of areas of spin as well in that cell. This is in southeast Arkansas. And if you are just joining us, I would love to know where you are tuning in from. Please post that in the chat. If you are new here, we would love to have you along for the ride as we track the weather together. I love hearing about what everyone's seeing with the weather, when it's good and bad. And unfortunately, it's bad tonight. If you have found this video, this live stream informative, please give it a thumbs up. It helps YouTube send this out to more people so that we can get some of the information out. And then we'd love to have you along for the ride as well. If you want to hit that subscribe button, that would be awesome. Again, if you're just finding us for the first time, I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kegas, and we are unfortunately tracking this ugly, ugly weather that is now exiting northeast Louisiana. We still have a few nasty thunderstorms capable of producing tornadoes in this cluster, the tri-state area of Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi, just right along the Mississippi River. So just awful, awful stuff. I want to go check south again. We were dealing with a few tornado warnings, or at least one, but some storms that were kind of misbehaving down there. We're getting a little bit of that look or trying to spin. It looks like that has piped down a little bit, so we'll take that. But some very heavy rain continues in Jasper, Texas, Pineland, Texas, Leesville. We're dry right now, but all of this stuff is coming your way. Camp D again, if our friend from Camp D was still watching and talked about the hail hitting the house, there it is. Now it's into Goldana, that blue there. I'm surprised that there's not a severe thunderstorm warning on that, unless I'm on the wrong radar. I can check to make sure that I am on the right one. And we can switch. When you're on the radar too far away, that beam is shooting up, and it obviously the ice melts as it hits the ground. It gets closer to ground level, so it sees that. So you want to be at the closest radar possible. We're going back to the Shreveport radar. We're going to inspect that a little bit more just to see. We'll have to wait for the radar data to load. There's a lot of data. Yeah, I don't know. We're at that one, and certainly it's maybe not as pronounced as what we just saw, but Goldana, we are getting some really big hail around maybe just under severe limits, severe levels, which would be an inch. Quarter size hail is what we constitute as severe. All right, just looking at the National Weather Service chat, checking our chat room if there are any questions out there. Hey, Serenity 2020, I remember you. Thanks for coming back and joining us. I'm glad the forecast worked out, and I hope the ice hasn't been too bad. You said just a little bit of ice so far. I was watching that today, and it was the complete area carved out. Don't go down I-90 to the west. My gosh. I know they obviously closed part of it as you really close in on Wyoming, but man, that was crazy out there. Thanks for coming back, and I hope everything is well. I appreciate you. Watching from Denham Springs, Louisiana. Welcome to the channel, Shirley. We're going to go check in on that for you. I'm going to get this back repositioned to find the best radar site to break down what is around you, and hopefully you have not seen ugly weather tonight. Okay, so here's the deal, and I don't know if you were with us yet, Shirley, when we were talking about the timeline for areas around Baton Rouge and then towards you in Denham Springs. I'm going to show you that again if you weren't here, so that you can be prepared for tomorrow if you're going to be up early, because it's mainly going to be the pre-dawn hours, I think, of tomorrow, and then early tomorrow morning that we will see that risk for severe weather for you, including the chance for tornadoes, unfortunately. So we're going to be watching this area to the east of Baton Rouge. Let me zoom this back out, all the nasty weather right now. And I do think all of the nastiest weather has now, at least in the short term, has moved out of Louisiana. We still have a long time to go, though, west of Alexandria. This guy does not look good. Looks like we have an embedded supercell thunderstorm in that. And what I'm pointing out here is this. He's trying to hide in the line of thunderstorms, but you see that little outline there that I just drew in and around Florian. We're going to inspect that a little further in just a second. I'm just going to bring back up the comments. Check out Mississippi. I got you. Stick with me for 1 second, and then we're gonna go check that out. I don't know if what part you're referring to where we have the tornado warnings are more in central and southeast, but right now we do have a few active tornado warnings right along the Mississippi River, including Greenville, Hollandale, just to the west of Anguilla, northwest of Anguilla. That's where we have the stuff right now. I have to switch my radar out. Stand by. I'm going to get a closer view of those. We have to go to the Jackson, Mississippi radar. We need one more radar up here. That would be very helpful for us. Unfortunately, they are very expensive. So we have these two cells capable of producing tornadoes crossing the Mississippi River as we speak. I'm going to put a tracker on the northern one first. Again, this is right on the Mississippi River. No need to apologize. No, I appreciate you tuning in and finding that, finding our channel. Welcome aboard. What I want to show you before you go is to make sure you have a way to get your warnings tomorrow morning or before the sun comes up tomorrow in case the line speeds up. This is about 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Eastern time, so about 4 to 5 o'clock in the morning. We could have some really nasty weather closing in on the Baton Rouge and Denham Springs, Louisiana area. Believe you're about right there. And then some of these guys are going to be supercell thunderstorms early in the morning still. So I want you to make sure that you have a way, when you go to sleep tonight, to set the NOAA weather radio, or if you have a local news station that you watch, to download their weather app and set your warnings so that you can get those in case you need to be prematurely woken up tomorrow morning into that 3 to 5 o'clock in the morning ballpark as that line of storms that's now back in western Louisiana kind of pushes on through. So that's something that we will be watching for you tomorrow. And then it moves to the rest of Mississippi. And if our other friend is asking us to check out Mississippi, if he wasn't where those 2 tornado warnings are right now, we are going to you got it, Shirley. I appreciate you a ton. Thanks so much. And please, please, please be safe. Jackson, Mississippi. This is really the eastern side now, and I'm not sure where you're referring to about what part of Mississippi that you wanted us to check out, but if you are around Jackson or southeast, this is going to be more of the late morning into the early afternoon time in southeast Mississippi, and then still some nasty, nasty weather until about dinner time tomorrow night, and then we can close the books on the severe weather threat for Mississippi tomorrow. And again, this is just the start of a very active period in the weather world. I think December is going to end very active. I would not be surprised if we even see some snow in parts of the Deep South. A little bit later on in the month, leading up to Christmas, there's going to be another big storm system and a lot of cold coming your way. That's something that we're going to focus on over the next few days whenever we clear out this big system. It's been so busy, we've not been able to focus on that longer range look. I did put out a video on who I think has a chance for a white Christmas. You can check that out. That is actually in the description. You can click that link as well. But if you're interested, I am going to post another who has the best shot to see a white Christmas video on Monday the 19th. And basically, it highlights not only the chance to see a white Christmas, of course, but why and how we're going to be so active in December. So, all right, DeRitter, let's check this out. Just switching things around here. Stand by, and I'm going to get to... All right, so let's get back to the radar here. Let me get back to my other radar. All right, so you're going to be in this for a little while longer. We were just talking about that cell coming out of Jasper, Texas. Let me get my bearings straight here and clear the map, and then we're going to get you back down. That's why I couldn't find it, because we were in Mississippi. They did. I'm going to show you that new tornado watch in 1 second. We're going to check out DeRitter. So here's the deal, Michelle. We are going to be under the gun for the next couple of hours. We need to clear this junk. I don't think your threat is going to be as high as what it is just to your north and east. But still, if you are planning on going to bed over the next couple of hours, I want you to make sure that you have a way to get your warnings as well. Basically, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you the future radar again. And this is still at about, 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning still. And if you can see that little speck, let me see if I can have my other map up that has a little bit closer. So you can see, okay, so there's DRI right there. Now, don't take this for a grain of salt. There's a big purple blob right over the airport there. Don't take that with a grain of salt that there is going to be a nasty storm right over you. What this does is this is just model guidance. It gives us a clue, again, where what the environment is looking like. So this is as of now. That is midnight. That is 1 a.m. So I think your severe weather threat goes down after about midnight to 1 a.m. your time. And then we're done. And then that severe weather threat is still ongoing for Alexandria, just to the east of Lake Charles, and then in here. That's where we have the pre-dawn hours, and then that's where we have tomorrow afternoon, even into the evening as we get into Alabama. So the severe weather threat ends for you, I think, at about midnight to 1 a.m. So if you're planning on going to bed still, there's that one little line here. Let me get back to the radar. There's that one little line. This is it right here. So this is the last gasp for DeRitter, not for everybody. But there you go. Here we are. And it's this line here that's going to be gradually moving in this direction. The good news is there is nothing severe on there right now. But as we've already seen tonight, that can quickly change. And there has already been little spin-ups in here along that line. So again, just watch it closely, monitor it closely. And we will keep a sharp eye on that. I want to go back to the watches. We had that new watch that was just issued for parts of Mississippi that is just to the west of Jackson, includes Yazoo City. This is going to go now until 2 o'clock in the morning. So that new tornado watch that was issued goes till 2 o'clock in the morning. This also to the west. So we've got a couple out there. That also goes to 2 o'clock in the morning. We have another severe tornado watch, I should say, until 4 a.m. This is just to the west of Baton Rouge. So again, that is for that line that we were just highlighting there that's going to be moving from west to east. You got it. 3 a.m. does come quick. It does come quick. But there is the overview of the current watches that are in play. Now, back to the warnings real quick. These have now left Louisiana. We are taking a quick break. There's still some ugly, nasty weather in the state of Louisiana, but we don't have anything damaging or destructive at this time. That will likely change, though, through the morning. So, again, I can't stress enough, if you are watching this channel from Arkansas, especially southeast Arkansas, into central Mississippi and western Mississippi, west of Jackson. I mean, even in Jackson, because that watch will likely be extended by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. And then from New Orleans to Baton Rouge, please, 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 before you go to bed tonight, make sure you have a way to get your warnings. That's going to be the most important thing, because you need to know what's coming. This is the stuff that I hate the most when we start to get these nocturnal tornadoes like this, because a lot of people are in bed and a lot of people don't get the warning because they are asleep. So please do me a favor and have a way, if you are watching me from these areas, to get your warnings before you go to bed. NOAA Weather Radio obviously works perfect, or your local news app. The weather app will likely have some kind of severe weather stuff. Focusing back on the tornado warnings, and I know we have a bunch of new people that just hopped on. First of all, I want to thank you for finding us, and I want to thank you for trusting me with this information here. We have a lot of stuff going on. If this is the first time finding this channel, I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kagas, and we talk and track all things weather. We like it when it's not this active, so that we can have fun, maybe talking about snow or other kind of storms, but not when they're like this. If you like talking and tracking the weather, please join us. Consider subscribing. I love to get your reports, and I love to see what's going on across the country. It's one of the things that I love most about this, get to meet people that otherwise I wouldn't get to meet. And please, if you're liking the live stream and finding this informative, please give it a thumbs up, because YouTube does push it out more to people. so that they can be informed. And I would love to get this word out further. Timeline on the couple of these warnings. Leland, Mississippi, we are up in about 9:50, so in about 5 minutes. So again, you don't really have much time here. Sunflower, 10:25, Doddsville, 11:33. We're going to inspect this more. I've got to change my radar site back to Jackson, Mississippi. Ethan, good to see you again, buddy. Thanks for coming back in. And I'm going to have a lot more on the severe weather threat as well tomorrow, also on clickorlando.com. So take a look at that tomorrow. I'll be in bright and early tomorrow looking up that stuff and giving the timeline for the central Florida round of severe weather, which should be decaying gradually, but there still could be some nasty stuff again, especially northwest of Orlando on Thursday afternoon and evening. All right. Let's see where we stand. It looks like now they've taken they've now switched one to a severe thunderstorm warning. Just wanted to make sure. They've canceled a few other warnings and kind of consolidated everything to make it a little cleaner now that we've gotten some more data. Let's go deep in here and check. Yeah, there's a couple little notches right on in here that are spinning. So Leland, heads up. Again, we just timed that out for you, just a couple of minutes away. So please watch that close. And then Lake Village, Montrose, right in here. That is really wide. That keeps on happening. This telestration has a mind of its own. Montrose, watch out as well, as we are going to be, I mean, this thing is right on top of us, moving in this general direction. So what I'm going to do now is back this up. Just to take a look, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning to this way southwest of Vicksburg, south of I-20 in Wisner and Winsboro. It doesn't look like there's anything spinning in there, but I do want to give you a heads up. In Wisner, Gilbert, this is coming in your direction at about 10:04. So in about 15, 20 minutes or so. So again, make sure that you are getting a nice, just pay attention to that one, because again, we're in an environment where if these storms get strong enough and build enough, then they can take advantage of some of that spin in the atmosphere and unfortunately produce tornadoes. We've seen that happen, unfortunately, a lot this evening. So just to give everybody, again, just a rundown here of the watches. We do have a tornado watch that runs until 2 o'clock in the morning. For that include its areas just to the west of Jackson, just to the west of Crystal Springs. That includes Natchez, Alexandria, Louisiana, and then to the west of Baton Rouge. That will likely be extended to the east as you wake up tomorrow morning. Again, this threat unfortunately continues really all day tomorrow for places like eastern Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Panhandle of Florida, and into Georgia. And then we're still talking about that. While I have you guys here, thanks, Allie. I appreciate that. And thanks for checking back in again. Ethan asks, have there been any PDS tornado warnings? There was one earlier. And I don't know if they triggered the PDS warning for Farmville or not, but Farmville was hit by a pretty, I don't know what size tornado was. Of course, that is something the National Weather Service determines when they get their survey teams out after the event. So we'll find out what that was. But you see these coming up on your screen here. There was a very nasty debris signature, and there's reports of a mobile home community being wiped out, multiple mobile homes destroyed there, and the sheriff there said that it wasn't looking good. So obviously our thoughts are with them, because that was another direct hit. We've had a couple of those tonight, and I'm just hoping, obviously, for no major injuries, certainly no fatalities. I've not heard any kind of reports on either, just that we had those, and of course I hope that that everybody is okay. Just looking at the National Weather Service chat here just to see if there's any updates on those, and I've not seen any more damage reports come in or any more updates from the Farmville tornado. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. You got it, Robin. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and I hope that you are staying safe. I hope that you're doing well on this evening. Absolutely terrible. I know, it's awful. This is the thing you hate. It's the most sobering thing that you can see, in my opinion. Debris signature on radar going to a town. And unfortunately, we've now seen that 3 times tonight. And unfortunately, that might be the case again tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, before I let you guys go, I'm going to turn off the watches and I'm going to show you what the risk area is like for tomorrow. Because if I have anybody watching from eastern Louisiana, central Mississippi, and then western Alabama, we are going to be under the gun next. So here is the risk area. Let me just briefly turn off the watches so I can clear this up. And I want to show you where we're looking at for tomorrow. So there's the highlight. Places like Baton Rouge. Now, this starts at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. tomorrow and goes until 7 in the evening. So we start things off early in the morning near Jennings, Louisiana, Oakdale, Louisiana, Baton Rouge. That's where we have the big-time severe weather threat starting by around daybreak or a little bit before tomorrow, as I showed you in that future radar there. I'm gonna do my best to hop on here tomorrow afternoon as this ramps up as well. So I'm gonna do my best to get back on here and track those storms. So Ethan brings up a good point. If you are interested in that, certainly if you live in this area and you want to stay up to date, please subscribe. That would be awesome. And I can give you the best information that I can tomorrow. If you hit that little alert bell, that will alert you when new content is posted. And again, I'm planning on going live tomorrow afternoon and evening as the severe weather threat, again, ramps up across more of the deep south. Places like New Orleans, Hattiesburg, again, we are in that enhanced risk. Again, that's that level 3 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. Meridian, Jackson, that's Jackson, Alabama. Mobile, Alabama, Wright, Florida. And again, that severe weather threat then moves towards Montgomery, Alabama later on in the day, towards Dothan, and then eventually to the panhandle of Florida, and then to the Big Bend. And then really that severe weather threat shifts to the panhandle of Florida. And I'm really concerned about also on Thursday morning, really for the first half of Thursday, the potential for like the tornado threat's going to be up in here, I think. And then eventually we'll see things fizzle out. We lose, there's the wind energy that's kind of blowing across here starts to pull back up a little bit. And then we start to lose some of the opportunity for those storms to spin as they get further down the Florida Peninsula. So just a couple of the things that we're going to be watching there over the next few days, but just an insanely dynamic storm. I mean, we still have just crazy amounts of dynamic. I mean, look at this. This is still before I let you guys go, checking up on the blizzard side of this. There was the craziest report here. I mean, there's 50 to 60 mile per gust. There's the magnitude of 14.5 inches in western South Dakota. Scotts Bluff, still snowing lightly there. The issue is you really can't measure it. Somebody said a train spotter reported there was clear ground in the panhandle of Nebraska. And then right next to it, there was waist-deep snowdrifts because the wind was just so strong. I don't know how you can officially verify the forecast there. I mean, it's pretty much verified. It was a blizzard. There was a lot of snow. So you might not get the most accurate measurement with your ruler because everything's blowing around. But nonetheless, just an insanely dynamic storm going through. All right, one more update on these active tornado warnings. Again, then we'll be back tomorrow. If you haven't given this a thumbs up yet and you've found this informative, please hit that thumbs up. Again, it does help to push this out to more people. And all of that stuff. Check one more place, North Louisiana in Benton. Stand by, and we will do that for you. All right, we're going to go to Benton, Louisiana. Let me get my bearings straight here and make sure that I am on the right radar for this. And that's north of, is that north of Shreveport? Just to make sure. If that is, we are good. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Boy, I thought it was north of Shreveport. We are good. Our severe weather threat is over. In Benton. So we are good. That is one of the places that we have the all clear. Is the Shreveport area, Mansfield. You might have a few little downpours coming through tonight. Maybe some gusty winds because we have such a dynamic system. But by and large, all of that, got to wait for the Shreveport radar to load again. There's a lot of radar data coming in. That's why it takes a good amount of time to load. But there's all the nasty stuff. Just to your east, I want to check up on those tornado warnings one last time. Jerome, 9:54, you're up. Arkansas City, 10:23, 10:38 in Benoit. These are those QLCS tornadoes, those tornadoes that could be embedded in those kind of line of thunderstorms. We're starting to see that rather than more of the supercellular, the lone thunderstorms, if you will. And then again, still we're watching Alexandria. We don't like when these get out by themselves. Same with Lake Charles. There's nothing imminent. But again, if you are planning on going to bed, my final plea here tonight, again, if you're watching anywhere from central and eastern Louisiana and into Mississippi specifically, and really western Mississippi, if you are west of this line, please don't go to bed tonight without making sure that you have some way to get your warnings. If you don't have a NOAA weather radio, please download your local news app's weather app or your local news station's weather app. Most of the time they're free. They're always free. And most of the time they will have a way to turn on warnings and then keep your phone on as well. Keep it turned way up. I know it's a way. I know obviously annoying to get woken up in the middle of the night, but those things can really save your life in a severe weather situation like we are in tonight. So that's my final plea to you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been great talking with you. I wish it was under better circumstances, but unfortunately this severe weather threat is going to continue again as we move into the overnight, into tomorrow, into Thursday as well, before we finally say goodbye to this system. If you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribe to this channel. Again, we talk and track all things weather. I love getting all your reports when there is weather coming in your direction. And if you haven't given this a thumbs up, please do so, because it will tell YouTube that we are a credible channel, and it will put that out to more people and to get this this message out more as we continue to track this severe weather alongside you. So I want to thank you guys again for tuning in and for your trust tonight. Appreciate everything. Thank you all as well. And again, please stay safe. Download those apps. I will catch you tomorrow. If you are interested again in following the severe weather tomorrow, subscribe, hit that alert bell. And again, we will catch you tomorrow. Stay safe, guys. Good night.